Welcome Capricorn to your in-depth weekly forecast for week commencing the 29th of April for the Ascendant, the Sun or the Moon. On the screen now I'm showing the event chart at the start of the week. Now the Moon is in your sign, and that's lovely because it's really urging you to be immediately mindful of what your emotional needs are. The first house is where we're concerned about us. It's more to do with our ego, if you like, but that's no bad thing. It links brilliantly to the Sun and the part of fortune in the joyful fifth house. So if you're wanting to pursue a hobby, interest, or even a social or romantic opportunity, listening to your gut feeling will guide you beautifully. But later on Monday, Venus is going to be joining up with the group of players in your fifth house, which includes the part of fortune and the Sun, and of course Uranus and Jupiter. The fifth house is where we can really showcase our talent. We can mesmerize people with our personality. Venus moving here suggests that your social diary will be filling up over the next few weeks. But because Pluto is in a square with Venus at the start of this week, you could also be tempted to spoil someone that you're drawn to with a grand gesture, or someone may in some ways give you a lot of attention, praise, or charm you, and it could be absolutely lovely and totally appropriate. But also it's important when Pluto's in the mix to just be conscious of what the motive is. But the other thing you could do with this square is decide to invest a little bit in your wardrobe, because Venus moving into the fifth house, very much about glamour. And having the Moon in the first house is about your identity. Perhaps a haircut is in the works too. There's been a lot of energy in your fourth house of late, which is very much to do with home, family, emotion. And Venus being in that area has been good if you have been redecorating or adapting your home or your outdoor space if you're in perhaps the southern hemisphere. But Mars hustles and bustles into this area on Tuesday. And of course, Mars being back in Aries is great in terms of the fit, because it's the ruler of this sign. And for the following 6 weeks, it brings an extra intensity to your home and emotional life. But it also could make you a little bit prickly at times, because Mars in the fourth house is technically in its full, so it's rather like being in Cancer, and it can make us rather defensive. So just when you've got this cluster of very social energy developing in Taurus, which can really be lovely, just be aware that little things at home or in the family or people's attitudes domestically could be a bit triggering at times in a way which could surprise you. However, if you're wanting to do something to your home in a more practical way, or even move altogether, the link between Mars and Pluto can give you an incredible amount of drive. And of course you are a sign that generally makes your way towards your targets in a very step-by-step, methodical, hard-working, applied and patient way. But Mars being back in Aries can bring a little bit of impatience to the mix. So if there is something that's been put off, you know, whether it is some adaptations to where you're living, perhaps you want to move altogether, perhaps there's something around the family dimension that you want to bring a greater sense of urgency to, you'll certainly have the toolkit there astrologically this week. But it is also the case that the fifth house can be where you can show people just how talented you are. And if, for example, you've got a skill that you've been enjoying developing, perhaps in your home life for some while, perhaps Mars moving into the fourth house, linking with Pluto in the second, could point towards maybe doing something at home with a small enterprise. But whatever your desire is, that link between Mars and Pluto gives you a lot of determination. But having fun, enjoying life's pleasures, mixing and mingling, perhaps even with a romantic dimension if you're single, is definitely possible with Venus moving into Taurus, its home sign, over the next 3 weeks. Capricorn, it's been great being with you. Have a lovely week. If you've yet to subscribe to my channel, I'd be honoured if you'd support me and do so now.